I'm going to go through my most used lenses, and New Year, I've had a bit of a clean out and I've sold a few things, and I want to sort of make my kit a little bit smaller because, well, it's out of hand, isn't it? So here's what I've done. First of all, though it breaks my heart, I have sold my Olympus 8mm fisheye lens because it's the best fisheye lens I've ever used in my entire life. Let's just get that out there. But for the amount of time that I actually use fisheye, it was money sat on the shelf. So what I did instead was I sold that one and got the 7 Artisan 7.5mm f2.8. It's manual focus, it's a little bit slower, but fisheye works wonderfully, and for me the compromise of having a slightly cheaper lens outweighs having such a premium lens that I never use. It bugs me having good kit that I never use. So, goodbye my fisheye, I miss you. Last year I reviewed quite a few lenses, as you may know, and I reviewed particularly quite a few 25mm lenses. So I decided to sell the Maker 25mm 1.8, just because when I'm using a 25mm that isn't my 25mm 1.4, which I'm shooting on now, the Lumix Leica, I prefer the lesser known Maker 25mm f2. It's more of a video lens, it's just wonderful. I did a review on it, I'll pop it up here. So now I only have a slightly excessive 2 25mm lenses instead of like 10. Vintage lenses, I have pared everything down and I'm just focusing on, at the moment, my Canon FD lenses and my Pentax 110 lenses. I still have the K-mount Pentax lenses and my OM lenses and a few Minolta lenses that I haven't actually got round to adapting to Micro Four Thirds yet. I will at some point, but I'm so impressed with the Canon FDs. I always find myself reaching for them anyway. So fewer vintage lenses are on my shelf at the moment, but the ones that are there I use a lot. So my favourite lenses ever. Of course, the 25mm Lumix Leica, as I mentioned, the f1.4. I'm shooting on it now. It is the video lens of choice. It's the one that I shoot on my vlogs with and the majority of my weddings, etc. Love it. Stupidly expensive. I've done a dedicated review for it, but you know how much I love that lens by now. My unsung heroes, which I don't talk about enough, are my two staple lenses, the stock and the zoom. The Lumix 12-35 2.8, which is my just amazing lens. I've used it to death. And the partner to that lens, which is the 35-100 2.8. Blooming amazing. I use both of them all the time for both photography and video, and I know primes are where it's at because you're going to get a better aperture, you're going to get it slightly sharper or whatever, but for the tele lenses, those two are my absolute workhorses. My 9-18 Olympus lens is still my go-to lens for landscape, travel, and anything that needs the sort of wider field of view. I have a dedicated review for it up here, but it is superb and I use it a lot. And one that's come up in the ranks, which I've started to use a heck of a lot more, is my Olympus 45mm f1.8. The portraits you can get out of the teeny tiny lens is out of this world. Absolutely stunning for the price. It's probably the cheapest lens on my list and it's great. If you're interested in a portrait lens that's very portable, very fast and very good, check out the Olympus 45mm 1.8. So I have two lenses that are on the bubble, two lenses that I don't use as much as the rest. They are the 15mm Olympus body cap lens, which to be honest I can't sell because there's just no point. It's so cheap and I do find it quite amusing, so I'm going to keep it. And the second lens that is on the bubble, which I cannot bring myself to sell, is the Olympus 17mm prime lens. I don't use it very often because it is a focal length that I've got covered for days with my other lenses, but it is so small and stylish. It looks amazing on the GX80 and the G7, and it's such a good walkabout lens. Don't use it as much as I should, but I love it, so it's not going anywhere. So those are my favourite lenses at the moment, my most used lenses, and I'm feeling quite sort of happy that I've culled a few of the lenses that I had on my shelf. I got rid of 2 autofocus Olympus lenses that were slightly older. I've got rid of a macro lens. I've got rid of a few things, and I'm happy to sort of look at my shelf and go, these are the tools for the job. I have everything I need, and not have lenses for days gathering dust. I have to say, next on my list is a decent macro lens. And I've been after the 60mm Olympus 2.8 macro lens forever, so I do think that might be the next lens that I buy. So thank you so much for watching, and tell me about your most used lenses. Is there anything I'm missing?